Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Charles. I want to welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamers Pro Show, where we cover different, sports topics, hot debates, and basically NBA news, and where we give you a fresh take on sports is the way we see it. And in today's episode, the topic is, or really the topic is, why you shouldn't respect media people who flip flops on their picks, like Chris Broussard, Skip Bayless, and Stephen A. Smith. Now, that's a topic I want to get into today, but before we get into that, I want you guys to please make sure you go ahead and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and also hit the notification bell to be notified whenever we drop our content. And also, we're running a poll, so we're going to link that in the description below in the community section, so please make sure you go ahead and check that out and vote and let us know what you think about this premium platform that we're working on. And also, don't forget, you can check out this episode on Spotify, which we're going to link in the description below, so you guys can check out the Dreamers Pro podcast. So, let me just get into this topic. Today's a busy day, a lot of topics, a lot of things to talk about in the sports world. And this particular topic I think is pretty interesting, so I figured let me just cover it as well, just to give you guys a different perspective on things and how they're happening. So as you know, we're not as big as ESPN and others, but I feel like some of the perspectives that we bring to the table do matter to our audience and people that watch our videos. So that's why we decided to cover this topic. So excuse the noise in the background. I think that's the trash man, so just bear with that noise. Now, we all know the Clippers are having a Game 7 today, okay? They're having a Game 7, and as you know, there's kind of been this hysteria that's been going around in the sports world, and people have been kind of, I don't want to say panicking. Some people have been panicking. Others have been a bit worried. Now, if you watch some of these major sports networks, these guys, like myself, our job is to analyze the information, analyze these games, give our picks and all this stuff. Going into this series, although I didn't have the Clippers playing against the Denver Nuggets, I did pick the Clippers to win that series. By that I mean I didn't have them in my brackets. I had the Utah Jazz beating the Denver Nuggets, in which case I was wrong, which is fine. But I still picked the Clippers to win the series because I picked the Clippers to win the championship. So therefore, if I picked the Clippers to win the championship, conventional wisdom would tell you that I would pick them to be able to beat any team that they play. At least that's what I thought. But however, things have been different. So today I was watching First Things First, and I saw Chris Broussard. Now, all of you guys who know who Chris Broussard is. He's an American TV sports commentator, former, I think, a writer, a sports columnist, or whatever it is. And he has been pretty high on the Clippers up until today. And he was asked what he thinks about the Clippers' chances to beat the Denver Nuggets. So before I go too far, let's take a listen to that clip of Chris Broussard.
Okay, Broussard, let's start with you. What are you expecting from Game 7 tonight?
Well, first of all, let me say this. Despite the proclamations of Nick Wright, the Clippers have never been my beloved Clippers, okay? They're only beloved to the few dozen Angelino. No. You talk about it, Nick, like I grew up some Clippers fan. There's a few dozen Angelinos.
You've seemed like it all year.
Beloved Clippers. No, I have been on the Clippers since Christmas, but I am now off of them. All right, I am off of the Clippers.
Whoa.
They have upset me so much. Now, I do have them winning tonight. I do have the Clippers winning tonight.
We're back.
But they will not cheat the process and win a championship. They will win tonight, but I'm off the Clippers.
Hold on.
They
What happened?
Wait, no.
Unacceptable.
I have
Unacceptable.
to jump in. No. I have
Bamboozled.
Led astray. Led astray. We know. No. Hold on.
Can't do that, Jenna.
I got to jump in.
Now, in that soundbite, you will hear Chris Broussard essentially say that he's selling all his Clipper stock. He's no longer, he doesn't believe in the Clippers anymore, and that he feels that, although he picks them to win tonight's game, he's not picking them moving forward. And you can hear how people on the panel are pretty much just ridiculing him and were just in complete shock by his take, right? And for me, I was taken aback when I heard those comments from Chris Broussard, him saying that. But it doesn't stop there, because Skip Bayless yesterday was on Disputed, who had always been an avid, not always, but who had always picked the Clippers at least to win the championship. I watched his Instagram account, and he was pretty upset, as most people were, that picked the Clippers to win when they dropped that game to the Denver Nuggets, especially having another lead in which they blew. And Skip Bayless came on Undisputed yesterday, and here's what he said. So take a listen to this.
The Nuggets believe no matter how big a lead that the Clippers get, Because they've come back,
Yep.
they can do it again. You got your hands full tomorrow night. You got your hands full.
So I am on record. I will say this up front. I will be surprised if the Clippers beat the Nuggets in Game 7. I will be surprised. I would not be surprised if the Clippers do manage to beat the Nuggets. I will not be surprised if the Clippers eliminate your Lakers. They're built to beat your Lakers. Their mentality is such it can beat your Lakers.
Now, in that soundbite, you will hear Skip Bayless say he said he won't be surprised if the Nuggets beat the Clippers, but he picks the Clippers to beat the Lakers. And I was like, what? First of all, if you're saying that, why don't you just pick the Nuggets to begin with? And what Skip Bayless's reasoning is, I think he's saying that he believes that the Clippers are only going to get up for the Nuggets, for the Lakers, and therefore the Clippers could possibly lose to the Nuggets because they're not taking them seriously. In my opinion, I believe that in most cases, the best team usually wins, okay? If I thought that the Clippers had that type of, let's say, deficiency within their team, why would I pick the Clippers to begin with? I would just say, listen, I think the Clippers are really good, but I don't think they have the mental toughness to really close out series, and therefore I wouldn't pick the Clippers to begin with. But I picked the Clippers from the very start. But to see how Skip Bayless and others are flip-flopping all over the place, I don't think it's a good thing, right? And my thing is, I believe that most of these guys are, simply put, are afraid of being wrong. That's what I believe. I believe that they're afraid of being wrong. Now, why do I say that? Although the Clippers have been losing, okay, I still believe that the Clippers are going to win the series, simply because before I made that pick, I made an educated assumption. I looked at all the things and I said, okay, I believe that this is the best team with the best player in the world, so therefore they should win. For me to now start going back and forth on my picks, it means that I'm not consistent. And if I'm not consistent, why should you, the viewer, take me seriously? Anything that I say, why would you take it seriously when you know at the blow of the wind, whatever direction the wind is blowing, I can change my opinion. Now, it's one thing if fans have second thoughts and second guesses about their team. That's another thing. But because they're just fans, just casual watching fans. But as people like us in the media, who our job is to give our opinion on things, you expect us to have some kind of integrity with what we're saying, right? I think people will respect you if you're wrong, right? Because no one can be right 100% of the time. I think where people begin to lose respect in people is when they begin to flip-flop on themselves and they begin to start second-guessing themselves, because therefore it means that you don't really believe what you're saying. And what I'm saying is I'm calling these guys out to say, listen, have the conviction to stick with your picks and don't be afraid of being wrong. Even Stephen A. Smith does it. When they ask him to start biting his thumb, oh my God, I don't know. Then why didn't you just pick that in the first place, right? If you're going to be wrong, be wrong. But I think most people have reputations that they want to protect, right? And because if you have a reputation, especially if you're well established, like you're on, on TV, on ESPN or Fox Sports, you have a reputation you want to guard, and you don't want to be that guy that's wrong all the time, because then people can't refer to you as an expert, right? And that's what most of these guys want to be referred to as experts, right? For me, I don't care about being an expert or for people seeing me as a basketball expert. What I am is a person that analyzes these games, looks at it, and makes educated guesses and makes educated assumptions. I try as much to inform myself before I speak, knowing that I can be wrong, because everyone can be wrong about anything. No one is infallible, and these guys aren't either. But for whatever reason, they're afraid to be wrong because of, maybe it may affect their dollars, or maybe their audience may say, hey, wait a minute, man. I thought you said this, and I use this, and this, and this, and this. I think that's what they're afraid of. But for me, I don't care about that, because I believe what I say. And if I'm wrong, I'm willing to live with the fact that I'm wrong about what I said. But I do follow my convictions when I speak. And I think that a lot of these guys are just afraid of being wrong. And I think they're swayed too much about what's happening, and they get flustered too much by, the things that happen around them. if the Clippers lose, and they can lose because it's possible. It's not impossible that they they couldn't lose. Then they lose. But at least I went down with the ship. I was consistent, and that's one thing you got to hand it to Shannon Sharpe. People, I mean, you can say whatever you want, but Shannon Sharpe is going to go down swinging with the Lakers, and you respect that because that's his original pick. So, for me, I'm calling these guys out, and I think that this is the reason why you shouldn't respect media people so much. I'm not saying that these are bad people. I'm not saying that these are dumb people. I'm absolutely not saying that. But when it comes to their picks and you start flip-flopping, I think you lose people when you do that. So that's just my honest opinion. So what I want to know from you guys is, do you agree with me? Do you think that it's wrong for media people to constantly be flip-flopping on a daily basis on their picks? Or do you think that it's natural and, as Max Kellerman says, as the information changes, my opinion changes, I modify my opinion. Whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section below. Again, if you enjoyed the video, please make sure you go ahead and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell to be notified whenever we drop our content. And please don't forget to go check out our poll in the description below and go leave a vote and let us know what you guys think. Once again, this is Charles here from Dreamers Pro. Wish you guys an amazing day. Peace.